What's going on, guys? So Saturday at the minute, 30th of September. Yeah, I thought it was October for a minute, but no, it's about to be October. So yeah, 30th of September. That's how bad I am with dates. Back in Biceps today on the menu. Again, like I previously mentioned in a earlier video this week, I'm a day behind because it was raining incredibly bad on Monday, so I didn't get to start my week of training until Tuesday. So yeah, just a day behind. But that doesn't matter, I'm still going to get the job done. It's just a bit of improvisation is required, and just making my EAAs never try going. Had my pre-workout meal at home, and yeah, primed and ready to go. Took my pre-workout supplements, and yeah, should be a good session. It's a maintenance block, like I did mention in, I think it was the most recent, or no, it would have been the one just before that, so the second most recent video that's already been up. I did mention that it's the start of a maintenance block, so the next 4 to 5 weeks, volume's just pulled down a little bit, supplementation's pulled down quite a bit, and it's just a period to kind of allow my body to just, I guess you could say, marinate at the new body weight. So we're aiming to maintain body weight, but if I get a little bit leaner, drop a bit of body weight in the process, it's just a silver lining. It's just an additional plus to the maintenance phase, because if your body composition can improve before you start your next push-up, then it's only advantageous. It's going to allow you to have better insulin sensitivity, better nutrient partitioning going into that next push-up phase. So yeah, it's a positive at the end of the day, even if it's not intentional or an intentional part of the whole maintenance phase process. But you'll notice there's a couple of videos missing this week, and that wasn't intentional. I thought I charged my batteries both times, but it turns out that the batteries are flat. So by the time we got to the gym, I got to record like one clip, and then the batteries died on me, so I didn't really have any options. So yeah, there's 2 sessions missing from this week, I believe. But I will get today's session recorded and tomorrow's session, or sessions. I'll be doing the glute hamstring leg session in the morning tomorrow on Sunday, and then in the evening or the afternoon, I'll be doing the quad session. So that's the plan of action. But yeah, like I said, volume's quite reduced in this like block or this phase relative to what it was at. I do push volume quite high. I have been a proponent of the whole HIIT training mentality or philosophy in the past, but I mean, to be completely fair, I think there are some advantages to it, and I've definitely got the psychology where it works well for me. Like I'm psychologically wired to just like leave nothing in the tank, so it can be beneficial in that sense. But from an injury standpoint, like, or injury prevention standpoint, it's not ideal, I don't think. I think you're far better off doing more volume, more controlled, really keeping strict tempos to try to limit the amount of load that you require on movements to achieve the job and get the effective reps that you need, and then just accumulating more volume over time, especially when you're enhanced and using certain pharmacological assistance or pharmacological aids, things that improve your, I suppose, shuttling of nutrients into the muscle, that sort of thing. I definitely think that a higher volume approach is more beneficial. I think for a drug-free athlete, maybe a more of a HIIT approach would be a little bit more ideal, because they don't have the ability to leverage those, I suppose, tertiary enhancements. But yeah, it's just there's more than one way to skin a cat. Doesn't matter if you train with a HIIT training approach or a high volume, slightly lower effort approach. They all work. They all get the job done. It just comes down to which one do you prefer, and which one is more sustainable for you in the long term, and which one is more ideal for you and your circumstances. But yeah, I honestly enjoy being in the gym. I actually like being in the gym, and so the high volume allows me to be in the gym a little bit longer and just absolutely thrash myself with repetitions. So yeah, but this block is a little bit lower in volume, like I said. Not quite like Dorian Yates, like Mike Metzer HIIT volume, but less than what I'm used to. So instead of doing, say, 4 to 5 sets on most movements, or 3 at the absolute least, I'm doing between 2 and 3 sets on everything. I'm not doing 4 sets on anything really. So it's pretty big drop down in volume for me personally. And even though I train pretty much arguably every day, because I've turned my rest day into a day that I normally do part of my leg session. So obviously if I don't miss a single day in the week of training, be like Monday my push day, Tuesday pull, Wednesday legs, Thursday push, Friday pull, and then Saturday hamstrings, glutes, and Sunday quads. So yeah, technically no rest days, but yeah, I mean, I think all in all, total working sets, my volume's probably north of, I'm not going to lie, like 130, like north of that per week. So probably averaging about 140 working sets a week, which is a lot of volume. But this week, everything's kind of pulled back down to the point to which my total weekly volume is probably like down by about 30 to 40%. So a pretty significant drop. But yeah, enough rambling. Yeah, basically got my EAs ready, so I might as well just get into the session. I'll see you in there, guys. So I can't be bothered trying to find the attachment that I usually use. I'm just going to use a wider neutral grip. So usually I use a narrow neutral grip, but the wider one's attached, so I'll just use that one. At the end of the day, I'm not aiming to obviously exert myself to the absolute max this week anyway, so yeah, it'll be sort of, I believe I'm a little bit stronger with a wider grip, so I'll go 180 instead of 160. But yeah. So I've got 3 sets of this exercise, but all the other back movements I'm pretty sure are only 2 sets, because I've got 2 other back exercises or back dedicated movements, and they're both horizontal pulls, whereas this is a vertical pull. So this being the only pull of its kind in the session, I want to do a little bit more volume, but the next 2, because they're both horizontal pulls, only 2 sets each, which will equate to a total of 4 sets of horizontal pulling, 3 sets of vertical pulling for back today. Sounds like not a lot, but when you consider I train back twice a week and it's a responsive body part, for me it doesn't require a lot of volume. It kind of makes sense, to be honest. But yeah, I'll do this set, then have a bit of a rest, get some EAAs, and get that final one punched out, and then it'll be on to the rows. So final set now, but before I do, thought I'd just update you on a little bit of a change in the routine of things. So in terms of like training, obviously I've kind of covered it's a bit of a maintenance period, but when it comes to the edema that I was experiencing, pretty sure I've narrowed it down now to just dehydration. So simply just a a bit of a skew of how much fluids I'm taking in, what my electrolyte intake is. So I've recently bumped my water intake up to 9 litres a day. So yeah, a lot of water. Basically, I just drink 6 of those 1.5 litre bottles of water every day. And yeah, 1.5 days in, the edema's already subsided a bit. It's definitely reduced in severity quite a bit, so I'm just going to continue with that. I'm also weighing up my salt intake for the day again. So now every morning I weigh out 10 grams of regular salt and 2 grams of diet salt, which is like a 50-50, or this one's actually a 60-40 split of potassium and sodium. So yeah, doing that, 12 grams of salt technically in total per day, and then the 9 litres of water, and I'm just basically consuming that throughout the day. Trying to evenly distribute it throughout the day as well as I can. And yeah, I'll continue with that, and I'll see how things go in a couple of days. If it fully clears up, then that'll be a relief, because blood work wise, everything came back suggesting there's nothing wrong with kidneys, liver, the heart, or anything like that. So it doesn't make sense for it to be anything serious or super concerning. Time for set number 3. Last week I managed plate number 10 on this for, I think it was like 11, 12 reps each set. But I did like 4 sets last week. This week I've only got 2, so it'll be a lot easier. And given that I have less total working sets, not that I ever try to pace myself, but I don't need to worry about like burning out as much. Because I mean, if I was doing 4 sets, when I say burn out after the first or second set, it's going to really substantially hinder my performance on that like 3rd and 4th set. But seeing as I've only got 2 sets today, it's not going to be a big deal if I kind of full on send it on the first set, because I've only got 1 more after that to do anyway. So I might see if I can hit a rep PB this week, even though it's meant to be a maintenance block. I just can't resist. I can't help myself. So it's my toxic trait. In maintenance blocks, deloads, I struggle to hold myself back. And final set. Okay, like I mentioned in the other back and bicep session already this week. I'm switching to this machine for the new block instead of the hammer strength low row. So yeah, here I am. But what I might do to get a little bit of variety is, instead of supinating today on this, one day I might supinate as I contract, and the other day I might just keep neutral. So I'll keep today neutral. So this is actually a perfect example of what I talk about quite often, and that is, like, just because you do the same exercise doesn't mean you're going to be able to use the same weight. And what I mean by that is, it's like, just because you do the same kind of a row on two different pieces of equipment, even though they might look very similar, there could be a contrast of differences. Like when I was doing that low row, the hammer strength low row, for example, all my other back and bicep sessions, which you would have seen, I was loading up like 5 plates aside, doing 15 to 20 reps. This, I've got 3 plates aside and I'm struggling with 15 reps. I'd say 15 reps at 3 plates on this is just as difficult as like 5.5 for 15 on the other one. So one's really good for your ego, the other one not so much, but they're both working your back incredibly well, targeting your back incredibly well. And it's not to say that you should always use the one that you can use less weight on, but I mean, from a progression standpoint, it would be wise to do so, because that means you've got a longer runway before you cap out or max out the capacity for the actual machine. Like if you use a machine that you, like say there's 2 machines and they can both hold say 5 to 6 plates per side, and one you struggle 10 to 15 reps at 3 plates, the other you struggle 10 to 15 reps at 5 plates. Well, logic would dictate an intelligent person, someone who doesn't flick the retard switch on in the brain, would use the one that you can do only 3 plates aside on, because that means you've got more room for progression over time. You don't have to change or rotate out the exercises or the movements as often. You could probably do that same rowing movement across several back-to-back training blocks without even removing it, and just see good progress in both your strength and numbers on the lift, but also your physique in terms of the actual back musculature. So yeah, something to consider. But one more set of these and that's onto the rear delt row, and to finish off with some biceps. The reps didn't really look like they were slowing down much, but they were getting shorter. So if I kept going, I wasn't really doing full reps. That's the reason why I stopped that set there. Sometimes like you'll notice you're reaching failure because the reps are slowing down. Other times you'll notice you're reaching failure because the reps are starting to get a little bit shorter. They're both proxies for gauging how close to failure you are, but I mean, the slowing down of velocity is probably the more reliable one, because realistically I probably could have extended a couple of those final reps a little bit more and that would have caused the velocity to slow down, but the velocity didn't really slow down much because the reps were getting shorter, if that makes sense. So if you do notice that your reps are starting to get a little bit shorter, end a set there, and then the next set, take note of how many reps you got, and don't let those reps get shorter toward the end. And I can guarantee if you force your body to not shorten the reps, and you get just a good contraction, good range of motion, the reps will slow down in that next set. Now before I start this first set of these rear delt rows, I just wanted to address a question that did come up the other week. I had somebody kind of message me after I uploaded one of my YouTube videos, just saying, oh, why don't you do more like training collabs with people? And to be completely frank and honest with you guys, like, I actually don't like training with other people. I hate training with other people, to be honest. I prefer training on my own. Just hit my elbow. I just prefer training on my own. I think I can just get in the zone a little bit better. And I mean, with the camera, and it's just like you guys and me, like, it's a bit easier to still focus on the shit that I need to do, because when you're training with somebody, you don't want to stop and chat between sets. I don't like doing that because I get out of my groove. When I'm talking to you guys here, like to the camera, like, it's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, I just find it's almost like energy draining training with people. As cool as it can be in some ways, like, but if I train with somebody, I know it's not going to be that hard of a session or a serious session, because I really just honestly don't think you can push yourself that hard if you're training with somebody else. Even if they do train hard themselves, I don't know, I've always found it, especially if you're like naturally a loner, like introverted like I am, you have better flow and just better, I suppose, performance when you train on your own. It's as simple as that. Yeah, I'll smash out this first set and then I'll have a rest. Okay. Second last movement, finally. First bicep movement. And instead of the usual like 4 sets each, I'm just doing 3. And yeah, still technically meant to be rep match sets, but see how I feel. If it feels like I'm not really getting much of a pump, I'll just do normal straight sets, because that's just a sign that fatigue might be a little bit higher than I expect it to be. As soon as you lose a pump, digestion goes to shit, start feeling lethargic, tired. These are all your body's signals trying to basically tell you that you're kind of low-key fucked and you need to just back things off for a week. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you notice the pumps are getting worse and stuff, it might not mean, oh, I need to change up my exercises, this program isn't working anymore, because I've had clients in the past say they're like, oh, I'm just not really feeling much of a pump anymore. I'm like, it's good that you mentioned that, but no, we're not changing your program, we're giving you a deload. Because a lot of the time that's what it is, that's the issue. It's not a problem with the program, it's a problem with you. Like, not that you're the problem, but rather you've overshot your fatigue a little bit too much. So yeah, this requires a week of just kind of like scaling things back a little and just letting the body recover a bit more. But yeah. Get some good music on. Three more. So Bayesian curls with back grips, great. But with these, one mistake a lot of people make is they like, when they do these, they lean forward, and that defeats the whole purpose of this variation of a bicep curl. But the whole point of the bicep curl, this one, is it places the shoulder in more extension. So if you lean forward like this, you're reducing shoulder extension, therefore reducing the stretch on the biceps. So if you actually want to get the most out of this exercise, stand upright and have your arms extending beyond your torso. So your torso is kind of like a vertical kind of reference point, and then your arms are extended diagonally back behind you. you're going to get the most out of this variation then. I tell you what, it's harder with the back grips, that's for sure. But I feel it more on my bicep, less on my forearm. Okay, so if you're going to start doing a little bit of a concluding clip for these vlogs, just so it doesn't kind of like end when the session ends. Yeah, decent session overall. Like I said, not going as hard as I usually do. Still hard by like general standards in terms of the effort I was putting into the session, but relative to how hard I usually go, just a little bit pulled back in terms of effort, but still enough to be considered like full effort by most people's considerations or standards. And even by my standards, like it's still like I'm still exerting myself to a pretty reasonable degree. Maybe leaving like 1 rep at most in the tank on most things. I've got to be completely kind of like transparent with myself. Yeah, time to head home. I'm going to go to the grocery store today, pick up some supplies. I ran out of chicken. I actually had a full pack of chicken tenderloins in the fridge, but they expired yesterday. They expired actually the day before. I was going to eat them yesterday, but I couldn't, so I had to buy some. They sell like pre-cooked containers of chicken and rice and stuff here. You can actually assemble your own meal, and it costs like, I think it's like the equivalent of like $4 for like a chicken and rice meal. Might even be less, like $3 to $4 US for a chicken and rice meal. So yeah, you just you can get that out of the fridge there, or you can buy the containers and take them home and use it for food at home. So I did that last night for dinner, so I didn't have to go to the shop after I got home from the gym, because I trained quite late last night. And if I went to Tesco to buy more chicken, I would have been going at like 10:30 at night, which was like half an hour before they close. And I wasn't keen on walking down the street after training, and just that time of the day I was so exhausted, or that time of the night. But yeah, I just had that. But today I need to buy more chicken, obviously. I need to get some other supplies too. if I can make it to another grocery store that stocks American cereals, I'm going to get more multigrain Cheerios. But if not, I'll just buy more Rice Krispies. Because I just sell Rice Krispies cereal at what is it, like Onut, which is kind of the area I'm in. But if I want to get other cereals, I have to go to the next nearest kind of suburb or area. But yeah, a few groceries. It's the night that partner and I, we get a off-play meal. So every Saturday night we have an off-play meal. So tonight we'll be doing that. At the minute it's looking to be